Captain Rylan had seen strange things before. Space missions were full of surprises, but nothing had prepared him for what awaited at the isolated medical station on the edge of the Orion sector. The station floated silently, surrounded by the cold black of space, lights flickering inside like a heartbeat waiting to be discovered. Rylan had been sent on a routine inspection mission. Supplies were low, and the station hadn't reported activity for weeks. As he stepped inside, the air was unnervingly still. Metal walls gleamed under dim lights, and the faint hum of life support systems was the only sound. He noticed a corridor ahead, partially blocked by scattered equipment, and heard footsteps, or was it echoes of something else? "Hello!" Rylan called, his voice echoing through the empty hall. Silence answered him. Then he saw her, but not like any human nurse he had ever known. Her skin shimmered with a faint blue glow, and her eyes were wide, curious, and intelligent. She moved with precision, yet there was something in her posture that made him uneasy. She glanced at him and then back at a sealed chamber nearby, her expression tense. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered, her voice melodic but firm. "They don't like strangers." Rylan's heart raced. Who doesn't?" he asked, taking cautious steps forward. The nurse didn't answer. Instead, she motioned him closer, her hand hovering over the control panel of the chamber. Rylan felt a strange pull, something in his chest that made him both anxious and alert. Whatever was inside that chamber was important, dangerous, perhaps, but it was calling him. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the walls, casting eerie shadows. The nurse's expression changed from concern to panic. "We don't have much time. They're coming." Before he could react, the chamber hissed open. Inside was a small alien creature, frail but glowing with energy. Its eyes were wide and it made no sound, but Rylan could feel its fear and curiosity. The nurse grabbed the creature, shielding it with her body, and looked at Rylan with urgency. "You have to help it," she said. "It carries something they want, something that could change everything for humans." Rylan swallowed hard. He had always believed in humanity's strength, in humans rising against impossible odds. But nothing had prepared him for the reality of standing in front of a living being from another world whose very existence was a secret worth killing for. Something powerful struck the hall from outside, sending sparks flying across the corridor. Rylan's instincts kicked in. He grabbed the nurse's hand, pulling her and the creature to a safer corner. Through the shattered viewport, he saw a massive alien ship, dark and menacing, hovering near the station. Its surface pulsed with light, like it was alive, waiting for them to make a mistake. The nurse looked at him, her glowing eyes wide. "They know you're here. They will not stop until they have it back." Rylan felt a surge of determination. Humans had survived worse. They had fought impossible battles. He glanced at the tiny alien creature, whose glow now seemed to intensify. In his presence, maybe it was hope, maybe it was power. Whatever it was, he knew one thing: he could not let it fall into the wrong hands. As alarms continued to blare and the station shook violently, Rylan realized this mission was no longer about inspection. It was about survival, and the choices he made in the next few minutes could change the fate of humanity forever. The nurse pulled him down into a maintenance hatch. The sound of the alien ship's weapons fired above them, shaking the station. Violently, Rylan could barely catch his breath, adrenaline coursing through him. He looked at the creature in her arms, glowing brighter now, and knew the journey had only just begun. "Ready?" the nurse whispered, her hand firm on his arm. Rylan nodded. He didn't know what awaited outside the hatch, but he knew one thing: there was no turning back. And that's when the station's main lights went out completely, plunging them into darkness, leaving only the glow of the mysterious alien child. The adventure had truly begun. Rylan and the alien nurse, whose name he learned was Lyra, crawled through the dark maintenance hatch. Sparks flew from broken circuits above, and the hum of the station's failing systems made every movement tense. The tiny alien child in Lyra's arms glowed faintly, as if sensing danger and guiding them. The hatch led them into a narrow tunnel, tight and metallic. Rylan's boots clanked against the walls, echoing through the passage. "Where are we going?" he asked. "To the old escape." "Docks," Lyra whispered. "It's the only place they cannot reach us fast enough. But we have to move quickly. Every second counts." As they moved, Rylan noticed strange markings along the walls. Symbols he didn't understand, glowing faintly in the dim light. "What are these?" he asked. Lyra's expression grew serious. "They're warnings. From my kind. This station was built as a research lab, but also as a prison for secrets. Humans were never meant to know. Some things here are dangerous." Suddenly, the tunnel shook violently. Metal twisted and sparks flew everywhere. "They're coming," Lyra shouted. Rylan grabbed her hand, pulling her and the glowing creature into a small side chamber, just as a massive claw smashed through the main tunnel. Rylan stared in disbelief. The alien attackers were not ships, they were living machines, a hybrid of biology and technology, enormous and terrifying. Their eyes glowed red, and metal limbs scraped the walls as they advanced. Lyra held the alien child closer. "We need to move," she said, leading Rylan through a hidden panel in the wall. The panel slid open with a hiss, revealing a vertical shaft with a ladder dot. As they climbed, Rylan noticed the child's glow intensifying, almost as if it were responding to his presence. A strange warmth filled him, an energy that made his reflexes sharper, his mind clearer. He realized this little being wasn't just a live-it, was powerful, maybe more powerful than anything humanity had faced, at the top of the shaft. They emerged into a long-abandoned docking bay. Dust hung in the air, and broken ships littered the floor. Lyra approached a small shuttle hidden behind a large cargo container. "This will take us out," she said. Rylan looked at her. "Do you trust me?" he asked. Lyra's glowing eyes met his. "You have no choice. But remember, humans are stronger than they seem. You may be our only hope." Before Rylan could respond, a shadow fell over the bay. The living machines had found them. Sparks and smoke filled the air as one slammed into a wall nearby, sending debris flying. Rylan and Lyra dove into the shuttle, slamming the hatch shut just as another massive machine reached for them. The shuttle roared to life, engines sputtering. Rylan gripped the controls, heart pounding. As they lifted off, the glowing alien child pulsed, and Rylan felt a surge of energy run through the ship. Lyra glanced at him, surprised. "It's responding to you." And then the shuttle shot into space, dodging blasts from the attackers below. For the first time, Rylan felt a strange hope. Humanity had survived impossible odds before, and maybe, just maybe, they could survive this too. But in the distance, he saw the massive alien ship hovering above the station, its lights scanning the void. They were not safe yet, not by far. The shuttle glided silently through the endless black of space, but silence did not mean safety. Rylan's hands gripped the controls tightly, knuckles white. Outside, stars streaked by as though the universe itself was racing past. Lyra sat beside him, the small, glowing alien child cradled gently in her arms. Its light pulsed softly, filling the cabin with a warm glow that seemed alive, almost breathing. "We can't stay in one place for long," Lyra said, her voice tense. "They'll track us. The flagship won't give up." Rylan nodded, though his eyes never left the viewport. He could still see the massive alien ship hovering over the station they had escaped, its shadow stretching across the void like a predator waiting for the perfect moment. "Then where do we go?" he asked. Lyra's eyes shifted to the child. "It can guide us. It knows where to hide. But it chooses who to trust." The child's glow suddenly intensified, bathing the shuttle in bright blue light. Rylan felt a strange warmth spread through him, almost like electricity moving through his veins. He instinctively reached toward the child as soon as he touched its small, glowing hand. A wave of images and sensations flooded his mind, visions of distant worlds, civilizations he had never heard of, and battles fought in the far reaches of the galaxy filled his consciousness. He saw starships exploding in brilliant colors, alien armies marching across barren planets, and strange machines that seemed alive, hunting prey with precision and intelligence. Rylan staggered back, breathing heavily. What is this?" he whispered. "It's showing you," Lyra said quietly, "the knowledge it carries. This child is not just alive, it's a key, a weapon, a map. Whoever controls it can change the balance of power in the galaxy. That is why they are after it." The weight of the realization hit him like a meteor. Humans had always been cautious explorers of space, clever and adaptable, but rarely the strongest. Yet here he was, standing on the edge of something far greater than any human mission before. The child's power was enormous, beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen, and somehow it had chosen to trust him. Rylan glanced at Lyra. "So, this is why they sent the living machines after us. They want this child's power. They want to control it." Lyra nodded. "Exactly. And if they succeed, the universe could fall into their hands. Entire star systems could be enslaved. Civilizations could be wiped out. And humans, we would be at the bottom of the food chain again." Rylan's jaw tightened. Humanity had survived impossible odds before. From Earth's earliest wars to interstellar conflicts, humans had always found a way to survive, adapt, and rise. And now, it seemed fate had given them a chance to tip the scales in their favor. The child's glow shifted suddenly from blue to a vibrant green, then to a blinding white light. Rylan felt another surge of knowledge and understanding. Systems of energy, alien technology, and even starship navigation flashed before his mind. He understood how to evade attacks, how to defend themselves, and even how to strike back. The child was not only a guide, was a teacher, a strategist, and a protector, all in one. Suddenly, the shuttle shook violently. Alarms blared as sensors detected a massive energy signature approaching fast. Rylan's heart raced. "Another ship!" he shouted over the sirens. Lyra's eyes widened. "Worse, it's the flagship, the one that controls the living machines." Outside the viewport, a shadow began to loom, a massive alien vessel, dark and imposing, thrusters glowing ominously. Its surface pulsed like living tissue, scanning the surrounding space for any signs of their presence. Rylan's stomach tightened. This was no ordinary enemy. This was intelligence and firepower combined. Hunting them with a single purpose, the child floated in Lyra's arms. But its glow now radiated a sense of calm, almost as if it were whispering, "I am here, we can face this." Rylan felt courage surging within him, an unshakable belief that they could overcome even this enormous threat. Humans were resilient, clever, and unpredictable. And now, with this child's power, maybe they had the edge. Rylan's mind raced with possibilities. They could hide, yes, but hiding would only delay the inevitable. They had to strike back, and strike smart. He realized something: the child's power could amplify human potential. If they used it wisely, they could outthink, outmaneuver, and outfight any opponent. Humanity might finally stand as equals among the stars. Lyra studied him closely. "You understand, don't you?" she asked. "This isn't just about survival. It's about taking the first step toward changing everything. Humanity can fight. Humanity can win. But it has to be ready to trust the unknown." Rylan nodded firmly. "Then we fight. We'll protect the child, and we'll fight back. No one is taking this from us." The child's glow pulsed once more, bright enough to light the entire shuttle cabin. Rylan felt a connection, a bond he couldn't explain. It was as if the child recognized his resolve, his courage, and his humanity. Lyra smiled faintly. "Then, it has chosen you." Rylan's hands gripped the controls with renewed determination. Outside, the stars streaked past, and the massive flagship loomed closer. But Rylan no longer felt fear. He felt purpose. Humanity had been given a chance, and with courage, intelligence, and the child's guidance, they could face whatever came. Next, the universe had just become much bigger and much more dangerous. But for the first time, Rylan felt ready. The shuttle shot through the darkness of space like a silver bullet, weaving between stars and drifting debris. Rylan's hands gripped the controls tightly, sweat forming along his brow. Lyra sat beside him, her eyes fixed on the glowing alien child cradled in her arms. Its light pulsed in time with the shuttle's thrusters, almost like it was alive and aware of the danger surrounding them. "They're faster than I expected," Lyra said, her voice tense. "The flagship is sending drones, hundreds of them, and they're coordinated. They know our every move." Rylan adjusted the shuttle's trajectory, dodging another streak of red laser fire. Sparks flew past the viewport as one of the drones exploded against an asteroid. "We can't outrun them forever," he muttered. "We need a plan." Lyra's eyes scanned the asteroid field ahead. Massive rocks and spinning debris formed, a natural maze. "Then we use this," she said, pointing to the dense cluster of asteroids. "They'll slow down. The child can guide us through safely." Rylan looked at the glowing child. Its light shifted, glowing brighter with flashes of green and white. He could feel energy radiating from it, almost like it was connecting with the shuttle's systems. "It's helping us," he whispered. "Yes," Lyra said. "It knows. The way trusts it." Rylan followed the child's guidance, twisting the shuttle sharply to avoid crashing into jagged rocks. Every maneuver was tense. One wrong move could shatter the ship. Outside, the alien drones crashed into asteroids, some exploding in showers of sparks, others sliding into space like broken machines. Yet more came, relentless, a sea of red lights closing in. Suddenly, the child floated from Lyra's arms into the center of the cabin. Its glow enveloped the shuttle, forming a protective energy barrier. Rylan felt the ship become lighter, almost as if the child was guiding it through space itself. The lasers from the drones bounced harmlessly off the glowing shield, and the shuttle moved faster, weaving through the asteroid maze with perfect precision. Rylan's heart raced. He had never experienced anything like this. Humans had always relied on technology, strategy, and courage, but now, he realized they had an ally unlike any other, something alive, intelligent, and powerful, capable of thinking faster than any human mind. "Keep pushing forward," Lyra shouted. "We can make it to the outpost, just a little further." The shuttle shot through a narrow corridor between massive asteroids. Rylan twisted and turned, narrowly avoiding collisions. One of the drones followed too closely and slammed into the side of a spinning rock, tearing apart in a burst of fire. The debris scattered, but the shuttle remained safe. Protected by the child's glowing energy, Rylan's hands ached from gripping the controls, sweat dripping down his face. "How long can it hold this?" he asked, glancing at Lyra. "For as long as it trusts us," she said. "It knows we're trying to survive. But if we panic, if we make a mistake, it will stop." A sudden shudder ran through the shuttle. Rylan looked out the viewport and saw a massive shape approaching fast, another alien ship, faster than the flagship itself. Its sleek black hull reflected the stars, and red lights glowed along its edges. It was a Hunter-class vessel, designed for destruction. Rylan shouted. Lyra nodded grimly. "They anticipated our route. They think they can trap us here." The child's glow flared brighter than ever. Rylan felt an energy surge through the shuttle controls. It was as if the ship and the child were one. He adjusted the thrusters instinctively, dodging the alien ship's attacks with precision that went beyond human skill. Each laser that passed harmlessly by was a reminder of the child's immense power. The alien vessel fired a massive beam directly at them. Rylan gritted his teeth, bracing for impact. The child expanded its energy shield, creating a glowing dome. Around the shuttle, the beam struck the shield, and sparks erupted, filling the cabin with bright flashes. The ship shook violently, but it remained intact. Lyra looked at Rylan with a mix of awe and relief. "It's doing more than protecting us," she whispered. "It's attacking back." Indeed, energy pulses from the child shot outward, striking the alien ship's hull. Sparks and small explosions scattered across its surface. The Hunter-class vessel shuddered, then veered off, retreating slightly. Rylan felt a surge of hope. "We might actually make it," he said, though the tension in his voice betrayed his fear. Lyra looked out at the asteroid field. "We're not safe yet. There's still a long way to go. But if we keep moving, and if the child continues to trust us, we have a chance." The shuttle twisted and dodged, rockets firing, energy shields glowing. Rylan realized the child's power was not just a weapon, was guidance, strategy, and survival instinct all combined. Humanity had been given a rare ally, one that could amplify their courage and intelligence far beyond their limits. As the shuttle cleared the densest part of the asteroid field, Rylan exhaled, finally allowing himself a small moment of relief. The Hunter-class ship was behind them, and the child's energy shield had weakened slightly, but the worst seemed to be over. For now, Lyra turned to him, her glowing eyes filled with resolve. "The outpost is close," she said. "We just need to survive until we get there. Then we can plan our next move." Rylan nodded, determination burning in his chest. Humanity had survived worse. And now, with this child's power, maybe they could finally fight back against the impossible odds of the galaxy outside. The stars stretched endlessly, but for the first time, R'Elan felt they were no longer a threat. They were a battlefield. And humans, guided by courage and a mysterious glowing ally, were ready to fight. The shuttle finally emerged from the dense asteroid field, and a barren planet loomed ahead. Orbiting quietly above it was a small hidden human outpost, its lights faint and shielded to avoid detection by alien forces. R'Elan exhaled sharply, the tension in his chest easing slightly but only for a moment. The flagship and its drones could arrive at any second. Lyra adjusted the shuttle's trajectory, guiding it to the outpost's concealed docking bay. "We're close," she said, her voice steady but tense. "But we have to land carefully. Any mistakes, and they'll know we're here." R'Elan's hands tightened on the controls. "I've got it," he said, though he didn't feel entirely confident. Every maneuver, every turn, felt like threading a needle through a storm. Outside, stars twinkled deceptively, hiding the dangers that lurked in the shadows. The glowing alien child floated in the center of the shuttle cabin, pulsing gently, as if sensing the approaching danger. Its light illuminated the small control room, reflecting off R'Elan's determined face. For a moment, he wondered what the child thought of humans. Did it trust them fully, or was it simply being cautious? The shuttle touched down softly in the hidden docking bay, and R'Elan quickly powered down the engines. The quiet hiss of the landing stabilizers was the only sound. Lyra immediately stepped out, the child still in her arms, scanning the area for threats. "Move quickly," she whispered. "We don't have much time before they detect us." R'Elan followed, his eyes scanning this. The outpost looked abandoned at first glance, with metal walls scarred by age and some areas overgrown with dust and machinery. But as they moved deeper inside, he noticed signs of life. Dim lights flickering in control rooms, the quiet hum of hidden systems, and shadows moving behind reinforced doors. A voice called out suddenly, clear and firm. "Who's there?" A soldier appeared, holding a plasma rifle, his eyes wide as they fell on the glowing child. "It's okay," Lyra said quickly, stepping forward. "We're human allies, and this." She held up the child, letting its glow fill the hallway. "This is why they're after us." The soldier's jaw dropped. "It's alive," he whispered. Others appeared, scientists and engineers, some in shock, some already preparing equipment. Whispers spread quickly through the outpost. The energy, it's incredible. R'Elan looked around, realizing the importance of the moment. This was not just a hidden base. It was humanity's chance to gather, prepare, and strike back. And with the child, they now had the edge they had never possessed before. Lyra led them to a secure chamber, one filled with computers and holographic maps. The child's glow pulsed brighter as it approached the central console. R'Elan watched, in awe as the child's energy interacted with the technology, lights flickering, circuits humming, and screens filling with strange alien data. "It's communicating," Lyra said, "not just with us, but with systems across this sector. It's showing us weaknesses, strategies, even locations of enemy ships. This is more than just survival, it's the chance to fight back." R'Elan felt a surge of hope and determination. Humans had faced impossible odds before. They had survived wars, cosmic disasters, and hostile alien worlds. But now, with this glowing ally, they had a weapon, a guide, and a chance to finally stand against the forces that sought to dominate them. Suddenly, the outpost's alarm blared. Sensors detected movement outside the shielding. The flagship's drones had found them, closing in fast. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "They're here," she said. "We need a defense plan now." R'Elan straightened. "Then we fight," he said, firmly. Humanity never surrenders when it has a chance to win. The soldiers and scientists quickly mobilized, guided by the child's energy pulses. R'Elan saw an unspoken truth forming in the room. Humans were not just survivors, they were fighters, with courage, unity, and intelligence. They could face even the most impossible threats. Lyra glanced at R'Elan. "The child has chosen us," she said quietly. "It trusts humanity. We have to prove we're worthy of that trust." Outside, the alien drones descended, their red lights cutting through the dark. The flagship's shadow loomed closer, massive and menacing. But inside the outpost, humans worked tirelessly, setting up defenses, preparing weapons, and coordinating with the child's guidance. Ryland felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. But he also felt something else, a sense of possibility. With this child, with Lyra, and with humans working together, they might just have a chance to turn the tide of this interstellar battle. As the first drones smashed against the outpost's shields, Ryland gritted his teeth. "Hold your ground," he shouted. "This is our home, and we will fight." The glowing child pulsed brighter than ever, projecting a shield that enveloped the outpost. Outside, the alien ships recoiled, their beams deflected, their movements slowed. Humans had survived worse before, but this was unlike anything they had ever faced. Ryland looked at Lyra, determination in his eyes. "We're ready," he said. "We'll protect the child, and we'll show them that humans are not to be underestimated." Lyra smiled, a mixture of pride and relief. "Then let them come. Humanity has allies now, and a future they never imagined." Outside, the stars glimmered, but for Ryland, the galaxy had just become a battlefield, and humans, guided by courage and a mysterious glowing ally, were ready to fight. The outpost shook violently as the alien drones slammed against its shields. Red sparks and energy rippled across the walls, alarms blaring in every corridor. Soldiers scrambled to battle stations, and scientists adjusted the child's energy interface, watching as its glow pulsed rhythmically, expanding outward like a protective heartbeat. Ryland's hands tightened on the railing as he watched the drones crash and veer off. Repelled by the child's energy, "They're relentless," he muttered, adrenaline pumping through him. "But we're not just hiding anymore, we fight back." Lyra stepped beside him, placing her hand on his shoulder. "The child can guide us. It knows their weaknesses. But we need to act fast. If we hesitate, they'll break through." The glowing child floated to the center of the main control room, its light enveloping the walls, computers, and holographic displays. Energy rippled outward, scanning every corridor, mapping the positions of the approaching drones. Red dots appeared on the holomap targets. Ryland's jaw tightened. This was not just defense, it was the blueprint for a counterattack. The strike teams? Lyra shouted. Soldiers moved quickly, weapons charged, and systems armed. Ryland grabbed a tactical tablet and began coordinating with the outpost's teams. The child's energy pulses gave precise timing, showing which drones to attack first, how to position troops, and how to anticipate enemy maneuvers. The first wave of drones crashed against the outer perimeter. Guided by the child's energy, soldiers fired with precision. Plasma bolts struck drones, sending them spinning into space in showers of sparks. Some drones attempted evasive maneuvers, but the child's glowing pulses predicted their paths, giving humans an almost supernatural advantage. Ryland felt a surge of pride. Humanity had survived worse odds. But now, for the first time, they weren't just surviving. They were leading. The outpost transformed into a battlefield of strategic brilliance, a place where human courage and the child's power combined into a force the aliens could not easily counter. Lyra monitored the energy field. "We can push them back further," she said, "but we need to strike at their flagship next. If we destroy it, the rest will retreat." Ryland nodded. "Then we make them pay for underestimating humans." His voice carried a fierce determination, echoing in the room. He knew it was dangerous, too close to the enemy, but humanity had always been strongest when odds were impossible. The child pulsed brighter, extending its energy into the nearby shuttle bay. Ships powered by human pilots moved into position. Weapons synchronized with the child's guidance. Every movement, every shot, every strategy flowed seamlessly, as if humans and the child were acting as one mind. Outside, the drones hesitated, sensing the sudden precision of their enemies. The alien flagship's sensors must have detected the change. It sent more drones, faster, stronger. But the humans, guided by the child, anticipated every move. Energy blasts from the child deflected attacks, protecting soldiers, vehicles, and the outpost itself. Ryland watched as his fellow humans fought with a new confidence. Engineers repaired energy shields on the fly. Soldiers coordinated ambushes, and scientists deployed experimental weapons with perfect timing. Every action was amplified by the child's guidance. It was as if humanity had become more than itself, stronger, sharper, faster. Lyra glanced at Rylan. "They can't match this," she said quietly. "Humans never give up, and now we're unstoppable." The tide of the battle shifted. Drones that had swarmed the outpost were falling back. Explosions lit up space, the red glow of enemy lights fading against the child's brilliance. Even the flagship's distant pulses were now being countered by the strategic maneuvers. The humans orchestrated. Rylan felt a strange energy surge through him, as if the child's power was connecting directly to his determination and courage. Humans had always been underestimated, fragile, reckless, and unpredictable. But here, in this moment, they were precision, strategy, and strength combined. With courage, intelligence, and unity, they could overcome any threat. Then, through the chaos, Lyra spoke urgently. "The flagship is preparing a final assault. We need to act now." Rylan clenched his fists. "We'll take it down, all of it together." He looked at the glowing child. "You've chosen us? Now we choose to fight for everything we've ever known." The child pulsed one last time, a blinding white light that extended beyond the outpost, forming a protective dome. Energy waves shot outward, disrupting the enemy's systems. Drones spun out of control, colliding with each other, while the flagship's weapons malfunctioned under the pressure of the child's energy. Rylan felt a surge of hope, stronger than any fear. Humanity could win. They could survive. They could thrive. The impossible odds were no longer impossible. Lyra smiled at him, her eyes glowing with pride. "We're ready for the final battle," she said. "The galaxy is about to see what humans are truly capable of." Mandris, the flagship, hovered in orbit, massive and menacing. Rylan knew that the next move would decide the fate of not just the outpost, but the entire sector. The child's glow pulsed like a heartbeat. Humanity was no longer defenseless. They were about to strike backhand. Nothing would ever be the same. The human outpost trembled under the faint vibrations of the approaching flagship. Its massive hull reflected the dim starlight, and pulsing red lights scanned space for signs of the humans inside. Drones circled like predators, waiting for any hint of weakness. Rylan stood at the command deck, his eyes fixed on the viewport. Beside him, Lyra cradled the glowing alien child, whose light had grown brighter than ever, almost blinding, like a living beacon of hope. "This is it," Lyra whispered. "We either end this now, or lose everything." Rylan clenched his fists. "Then we fight. Humanity has never backed down. Not now, not ever." Outside, the flagship moved into position. Its weapons began to charge massive beams of energy, cutting through the void, each pulse threatening to tear apart the outpost. But Rylan felt a surge of confidence. The child's glow pulsed, responding to his determination. It was ready. They were ready. Lyra's fingers danced over the controls, coordinating the defense teams. Shields strengthened, energy cannons powered up, and every human soldier prepared for the strike. The child floated toward the center of the command deck, radiating a white-hot light. Its energy connected to the outpost's systems, amplifying every weapon, every shield, every calculation. "Rylan, the flagship, is launching its first attack," Lyra shouted. Lasers streaked across space. Explosions rocked the outpost as the flagship fired its massive energy cannons. Drones collided in midair, their control systems disrupted by the child's energy pulses. Shields flared, holding strong, and humans retaliated. Plasma bolts from the outpost's cannons struck the flagship's hull, causing sparks and minor explosions. The flagship fired again, stronger this time, and the outpost trembled violently. Rylan gritted his teeth, adjusting targeting systems as energy readings streamed into his display. He could feel the child's presence guiding him, directing him to weak points, showing him angles of attack he could never have calculated alone. "Focus on the engines," the child pulsed, almost like a voice inside their minds. "Disable the engines, and they will retreat." Rylan's hands flew over the controls. He fired energy-guided torpedoes, following the child's instructions. The first shot struck the flagship's engine array, causing sparks and a violent shudder. The second hit, and the flagship's thrusters faltered. It wobbled in space, struggling to maintain position. Lyra smiled. It's working. We can do this. The child's glow intensified, radiating outward in a protective dome that enveloped the outpost and the attacking humans. Every drone that came close was repelled, their systems fried by pulses of energy. Humanity had turned the tables. For the first time in this war, humans were not just surviving, they were dominating. The flagship tried to escape, but the child's energy extended beyond the outpost. Ryland fired one final strike, a concentrated blast of plasma and guided energy. The flagship's hull cracked massive explosions, lighting up the void as it began to break apart. Drones spun out of control, falling into space. Ryland fell back against the console, breathing heavily, watching the enemy flagship break apart. Humanity had won. The sector was safe, at least for now. Lyra approached him, the child cradled in her arms, its glow softening. "It's over," she said quietly. "For now." Ryland looked at the glowing child. "You chose humanity," he said softly. "You trusted us. We didn't fail you." The child's light pulsed in acknowledgement, like a heartbeat, of connection and mutual respect. It had guided humans, protected them, and empowered them to survive against overwhelming odds. But it had also shown them something more, that humanity could rise, adapt, and overcome even when the universe seemed determined to crush them. Ryland turned to the humans at the outpost. Soldiers, engineers, and scientists alike were cheering, their faces filled with awe and relief. "This is what humans are capable of," he shouted. "Courage, unity, and intelligence can overcome anything. Remember this moment." Lyra nodded. "And the child will remain with us for now. Together, humans can learn, grow, and prepare for whatever the galaxy throws at them next." Outside, the stars twinkled, calm and silent once more. But Ryland knew that peace was only temporary. The universe was vast, full of unknown dangers, and other enemies would come. Yet, for the first time, humanity had an mysterious ally, intelligence beyond measure, and the courage to fight. The child's glow dimmed slightly, resting in Lyra's arms. Ryland felt a profound sense of hope. They had faced impossible odds and survived. They had fought the machines, outsmarted the flagship, and proven that humans were not weak, fragile, or irrelevant in the cosmos. "This is just the beginning," Ryland said, looking at the stars. "Humanity will rise, and nothing will stop us." The outpost lights flickered softly in the aftermath of the battle. Humans worked tirelessly, repairing systems, strengthening defenses, and preparing for the future. Guided by courage, unity, and the glowing child, they would explore, protect, and fight not just for survival, but for dominance in a universe that had underestimated them for too long. And as Ryland watched the stars stretch across space, he knew one thing with certainty: humanity had a future among the stars, and they were ready to claim it. The galaxy had witnessed the power of humans for the first time, and it would never forget.